Hey, I am so excited to be talking with Chelly Herren with the Hyland Group eXp Realty about her group's tech stack, how they've been using Follow Up Boss, and their experience with our services. So, Shay, thank you for taking the time to share some information with us.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for having me, Elena. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm curious where is the Hyland Group located?
We are in Prescott, Arizona, which is about halfway between Phoenix and Flagstaff, northern Arizona. So not the hot desert, we're up in the mountains a bit. And a Quad City area here in northern Arizona. We have about 150,000 people in our area.
Okay. And how long has the Hyland Group been around?
The Hyland Group has been around since our team lead, Jeff, started in his business in about 2005. And he's been the top realtor in our area for about going on, I think, 11 years now. And I've worked for him for about 10. So yeah, it's been a fun ride to be, involved in so many people's real estate experience in our area.
Yeah, must be exciting to see that growth, and congrats on being like the number one group or realtor in the area. That's really cool.
Thank you.
So how many currently, I know it'll probably change, but right now, what's this current number of team members you have? What are their roles in the company?
Yeah, so we have a total of 18 agents right now. We have 6 staff members, and then we have 1 in-house ISA. Some contractors also help us like outside of our office virtually. And let's see, yeah, we have grown a lot over the last probably 3 or to 4 years. Our team is definitely like doubled almost every year. So yeah, that's like the basic structure of what we have here. We did about 400 transactions last year, 375 actually, 375 and 200 million in sales.
Wow. And so what is your technical title within the company?
I'm the COO of the team, so I work directly under our team leader. Integrator is another name for my role. He's the visionary of the company, and then I get to carry out all of the great ideas and make everything happen. I also have a pretty heavy role in sales management. We don't have that position separated out. He and I tag team that together.
Okay. So how did you get involved with the Hyland Group? Were you already previously in some sector of real estate for another team, or how did you do that?
Yeah. The quick story is I got licensed in 2005 and worked with a land developer for the early part of my career. He was a entrepreneur and got to do a lot of really fun things with him. And he started a real estate brokerage, I think in 2009 or 10. And I was able to be influential in that company starting up and growing quickly in an operations role. And then after I decided that I wanted to kind of move on to other parts of my career, I was just getting ready to start a family. I took some time off, did some marketing for a bit, and then one of my clients and friends was Jeff Hyland, who I now work for, and I asked him if I could put my license there. He ended up getting some opportunities with some builders in our area to take on their sales operations. And he basically asked me if I would come on to help him with that. So I did that with him initially for about, let's see, 6 years or so. And then in 2020, his team was growing a lot, and some of our builder opportunities were either changing or they were running out of lots, or they, took some of their brokerage opportunities or brokerage operations in-house as a builder. And I decided to go into a role with Jeff as a sales manager, operations manager, and then eventually COO for the team. So that's the brief history.
Yeah, that's a cool story. So back to the Hyland Group. Can you share a little bit about what the tech stack looks like for them? What sorts of technology are they using to help increase their efficiency, build new business and opportunities? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we have we try to keep things as simple as possible. I'm a firm believer in the KISS theory of keep it simple, and try to keep as few systems for our staff and agents to log in and out of on a daily basis. So our agents obviously use all of the like normal real estate software that powers their businesses for showings and MLS and all of that. Our CRM is Follow Up Boss, and we've been heavily invested with them for going on 4 years now. They really, Follow Up Boss really powers, like, I would say 80% of our business. We use the YLoco platform for a lot of our marketing, web-based marketing and lead gen opportunities. And then we use the Broker Wolf software suite for our back-end reporting. So those are kind of our three main pieces. We have, we're always testing out different lead opportunities or client nurturing tools. Those would be examples of some of the other pieces of technology that we integrate, but for the most part, we really try to keep it like focused on those three main systems.
Yeah, so easy to see a new tool get announced at a conference or something and want to jump ship from whatever you're using and try the newest and coolest thing. So
Yes,
definitely putting on blinders is a big part of your job, I'm sure.
It is. Or if we're going to test it out, making sure we have a really clear plan of how long we're going to test it for, when we expect to see results, and like what the outcome will be expected, or like if it's a lead service or if it's a lead opportunity, like what our return is expected to be. So I do just a lot of like monitoring in that way if we do take something on new.
Yeah, for sure. So going specific to one part of your tech stack, Follow Up Boss, I know that you said you've been using it for about 4 years, and then our team had the opportunity to help your team create more automations. You may not remember since it was so long ago, but do you remember how you originally heard about our company?
Yeah, I do. So when we were first onboarded with Follow Up Boss, we had the benefit of like having some really great meetings with users and just like getting integrated into the Follow Up Boss community through the Facebook group, and just really like felt so welcomed by that community as far as how many people were able and willing to share. And we used Follow Up Boss for about a year before I, maybe a little bit less, but I had seen some posts of yours on the Follow Up Boss community on Facebook and what you were doing. And I had gotten enough experience in optimizing our Follow Up Boss to realize that we were really deficient in the drip campaign and some of our nurturing opportunities, because agents would claim a lead and then get really busy, or I was still in the process of getting a lot of our like smart list system set up, and I was just noticing that things would slip through the cracks. And I really wanted to have a lot more automation as far as like making sure that groups of emails were scheduled to go out to different leads in different stages. And so when you described what you did to kind of optimize Follow Up Boss in those ways, I actually just found an old email where I was like, I really want to work with you, but I feel like it would need a really custom system. And what we ended up doing is just talking about, what you offered and how it would fit into what we did. And ultimately it was a great fit.
Yeah. So just to kind of piggyback off of what you said, what made you decide, because you mentioned you originally thought it needs to be super custom or else it may not work for us. So how did you decide to go ahead and work for us rather than either trying to build it out yourself or like hiring someone in-house to make it from scratch, like a true custom build out?
Well, I really loved the setup that you had once you showed it to me, and it was, you were willing to make like some small customizations for us that made sense for like our lead types and our lead sources and how the plans worked with those lead sources. And then also like all of your action plans that were built out that like basically would take me a tremendous amount of time to build myself, were very appealing to me. So it was like the time savings, you already had all like the ideas for the different campaigns. You had the action plans built out that like added the right tags and got the system basically just like working a lot better than what I could architect myself, I guess.
Hmm.
And then the fact that if there was something I wanted customized, then once the install was done, I could just go in and like make some small tweaks to continue to make it work for us and evolve over time, which we've done. And that to me was very appealing, that you just basically gave us a great head start and foundation, but then we were able to like fully customize it to our needs.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's much
So
easier than starting from scratch, I guess.
yeah. Save you lots of hours.
Yes.
So then you mentioned that you heard about us several years ago, and I think you just found out. How long have you been using our setup?
So yeah, March of 2021 is when I started working with you. And so we're going on 3 years. And it's really been like so plug and play for us. Like we've made some updates along the way. And I've talked to you before about like updating all of our templates, but then you make the really good point that if something's working, why would we need to really change it that much? So we've just made some small tweaks along the way, but for the most part, we're still using like, I would say 85 to 90% of the base build that you put in for us.
Yeah, that's great to hear. So what results have you seen since using it for about 3 years for your team?
So I was just looking at some numbers, we're getting ready to talk to you, and we have thousands of sends. I mean, I would say it's into the tens of thousands if I add up all the different email action plans that have been, or excuse me, action plans that have been applied to leads that have come into our system over 3 years. And, or, either automated action plan responses or action plans that people have applied or that we've applied via lead stage. There's lots of different ways that your plans get applied in our system, but there's thousands of emails that have been sent. The open rates, I was just cruising through the list, and all like the main action plans that fire off when a lot of our leads come in, which I think is like some of the most effective campaigns that you have. The open rates are like over 30 or 40%. And if you know about industry standard open rates, those are like really, really good numbers. And then if you go to the action plan, like response rates, there's also very high numbers there. So it's like the percentages are like over, like in many cases, like in the 80% range. And I think that that's like extremely, it's an extremely good testament to how well written and well crafted the action plans are.
Wow. Well, yeah, thanks for taking a look at those numbers before
Yeah.
we spoke. So after we finished the setup 3 years ago, what was our support like? Did we just say, here you go, figure it out? Did we kind of leave it high and dry? What was that like?
No, you guys were like, I think if I remember correctly, once you installed, it took me a while to sort of like circle back with you and get my head wrapped around everything. But that was like just me, being swamped with growing a team. But right away we were able to implement like basically most of what you put in there, and then just make small updates and tweaks along the way. And anytime I had a question, you were always there to answer the question. Your team was awesome to work with. I'm still getting regular emails from your team with like, hey, this has changed with the way that Ylopo does this, or, if you use Conversion Monster, this is what, you need to update. And very small updates along the way. You guys are always releasing new products that are so fun to try out, as far as like, lender emails, recruiting emails, those types of different offerings that you have. So my experience with your team has been over the top fantastic, just so helpful. And I really enjoy working with everyone. Very knowledgeable too. Like being helpful and there is one thing, but when you ask a question and you actually get an answer and responsiveness, it's really refreshing, because there's a lot of software or services like yours that are supported by people who might not be extremely knowledgeable And that gets frustrating sometimes because you can ask a question and get sort of like a vague answer.
Yeah, sort of like a copy paste answer rather than a
Yes.
direct answer from like a help
Like
article.
a knowledge base answer. And I'm like, I'm pretty savvy. I can go to the knowledge base myself.
Yes, yeah.
It's above
Yeah.
that. Trust me, I'd
Yeah.
rather go to the knowledge base and get a quick answer than have to like go out of my way to speak to someone. But anyway, so yes, you guys have been super helpful and awesome.
That's so good to hear. Yeah, I would say the same thing about follow bosses support. You don't get a copy paste answer. They are very personable with you, and they most of the time are able to answer the question within just like the first email. Sometimes they ask for more context, but we eventually get a lot of our questions answered very easily with follow boss as well. Yeah, so last question for you before I let you go. If someone was researching key technology and they were on the fence, they didn't know if it was worth it, what would you tell them?
Gosh, I would say you can't rush into the decision fast enough because you won't look back. Like there's just so many benefits to having a system that's set up with stages, smart lists, a system basically to follow. And I think that that's the most overwhelming part about Follow Up Boss in the beginning is it's basically like a clean slate. And unless you like really do a lot of time and energy investing in like what you want your stages and smart lists and all of that to be. Obviously, Follow Up Boss support is super awesome to help you do all of that, but there's just a lot of different ways to do it. And to use a research platform that's like already been created and tested by other people makes so much sense. And you can just speed up your learning curve so much by just getting that platform, the amount of time that it would take you to invent all of that stuff yourself or do the research on it and then install it into Follow Up Boss is like worth the cost of your services like 20 times over, in my opinion.
Well, then maybe we'll increase our price 20 times. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, please don't do that. Not for me.
$20,000 now.
Yeah. So
Well, yeah,
it's a fantastic investment and I can't recommend it any higher than I already do.
awesome. Well, thank you, Shay. I really appreciate you sharing your thoughts. I'm sure lots of people will find it helpful who have a similar team structure to the Hyland Group.
Yes, well, I appreciate your time and your energy in creating this awesome platform and build for people who are really looking to level up their Follow Up Boss experience, because I think it's really an incredible opportunity for anybody who's just ready to take that next step with utilizing their Follow Up Boss at the next level.
Awesome. Thanks, Shay.